Hey everybody, Massachusetts Prepper here. Well, today we're doing a little bit of a review on the Smith Wesson SD9VE. Now this is a handgun that Smith Wesson put out, and it is one of their value enhanced handguns. This gun does come in 9mm and 40 Smith Wesson. You can pick this gun up right around the $389 mark, so it's relatively inexpensive, and for the most part it's a pretty nice gun. Now for all the safety sallies out there, we will show you the gun is unloaded, no magazine, both magazines are right here. This gun does come with 2 mags at that price point. Now for all intents and purposes, if you like a Glock, you'll probably like the function of this handgun. Although it is not a Glock, it does break down very similar. There's nothing in the gun. You do pull the trigger while it's pointed in a safe direction, ratchet it back a little bit, pull down on the 2 little slides on the side, and bring everything forward. So it breaks down very similar to a Glock and completely pulls apart. Now everything is stainless steel. The barrel, and of course it goes right back together. Same way. Make sure you get everything lined up. Put everything back in where it goes. Slide. Does have serrations on the front and back, so you can grab it wherever to rack it. Now I'm just going to go ahead and give you the specs on this gun, and then I'll tell you what I like and what I dislike about the handgun. Now this is the model Smith Wesson SD9VE for value enhanced. The caliber of this one is 9mm. You can get it in 40 Smith & Wesson as well. It comes with a standard capacity magazine of 16+1 unless you live in the great state of Massachusetts, probably New York, California, and I'm not sure what other states. Then you get to have the standard capacity magazine of 10+1. As you can see, these are 10+1 magazines. So if you live in the great communist wealth of Massachusetts, you're going to get a 10+1 magazine for your handgun. You will get 2 of them, but they will only be 10 rounds. Now the action is a striker fired action. The barrel length is 4 inches or 10.2 centimeters. The front sight, as you can see here, front sight is a white dot with 2 white dots on your rear sight, and it does give you a pretty good sight picture, so they stand out pretty well in daylight. The rear sight is a fixed 2-dot sight. The overall length of the handgun is 7.2 inches or 18.3 centimeters. The width is, if you're familiar with your Glocks, it's real similar to the Glock. The width is 1.29 inches or 3.3 centimeters. The weight comes in at 22.7 ounces or 643 grams. It does have a nice textured polymer grip. I find it to not be overly aggressive when you're holding on to it, so it's not going to tear up your hand when you're shooting it. I would probably prefer, I like a little bit more of a grip on my guns. So I would probably take and purchase some Talon grips to put on this eventually. Now the frame is a polymer frame. The slide material is stainless steel. The barrel is also stainless steel. And this one is a 2-tone finish. Now some of the features on this is a nice finger textured area for your finger to rest in. This is a little bit short for my finger when I'm holding onto the gun, but it gives you a nice reference point when you're grabbing the gun to know that your finger is off the trigger, which you should know anyway. But this is on both sides, so can be used for a thumb grip on the other side. Or if you're a left-handed shooter, then you've got the finger grip there. I tend to use it for a thumb grip. Works quite well. Now this does have the slide release is quite ample on this handgun and engages quite well. Now, one of the things that I have noticed is the trigger pull on this. Now it does have what is being classified as an SDT, a self-defense trigger for optimal consistent pull. Now if you watch as I pull, you see this little spot right up there. Well, let me see. You see this, watch this little spot right up here. That disappears. Now if you're pulling this from up here, you cannot engage the trigger. So your finger does have to be squarely on the trigger to pull and click. Now on the reset, there's a false reset, I feel. There's the click. And now when we're resetting, there's like a dull thud, then the click. That is the reset. Okay? So if we go to right there where we hear that first thing, we can't. We have to go forward. So there's that, then the click. Okay? So what I find is when you're shooting this gun, that initial trigger pull seems long. Then once you got the reset, you're good. Overall, fit and finish is really nice on the gun. It does break down very similar to a Glock. Well, actually it breaks down identical to a Glock. And that's where a lawsuit came in between Glock and Smith Wesson. Okay, but that's a story for another day. There is a Picatinny rail on here, so you can add attachments, and it is a fairly decent Picatinny rail, so you'll have no trouble adding a light and laser pointer or whatever. Now there is a nice dovetail on this handgun as well, so you get a nice good purchase and it sinks right in there really nice, so you get a nice grip on this. Now if you're someone with smaller hands, I'm going to tell you this is probably not going to be a comfortable shooting gun for you, because it is a pretty good sized grip. Now I have large hands and I find this to be adequate, but someone with smaller hands may find that this gun doesn't quite fit their hand as well. It is quite substantial in the grip area. Now the front and back texturing on this is quite aggressive, and you will notice that right away, but it doesn't seem to bother you when you're shooting because the gun does fit nicely in your hand, so you don't really notice that aggressive texturing as much. But overall, the fit and finish of the gun is well done. Smith & Wesson did a really nice job on it. It looks pretty sharp, I think. Shooting, I tend to shoot low with this gun. It's dropping about 2 to 4 inches from where I'm aiming. The gun is probably more accurate than I am. I do not dispute that at all. But for me, this gun does seem to shoot low. Overall, I like the gun. I think a trigger job is going to be necessary to make this a gun that I really enjoy shooting. The first pull of the trigger tends to be long, and it just doesn't feel right to me. And it's probably because Massachusetts requires a 10-pound trigger pull. So it is a very stiff trigger. A trigger job could probably make this a much better shooting handgun, I'm sure. And this is probably something I will look into doing in the next month or so. So anyway, I just wanted to bring a quick review here of the Smith Wesson SD9VE, value enhanced. You can pick these up for right around $389 in Massachusetts. I'm sure the prices vary widely throughout different states, but it's a cheap, affordable handgun. So anyone that's looking to buy their first handgun, I wouldn't necessarily say this would be the gun for you, but if you're on a budget and you're wanting something to take to the range, plink around with, this is probably a good option because it is affordable. All right, everybody. Will you survive whatever comes your way? I sure hope so. This is the Massachusetts Prepper saying, take care all. Hey everybody, Massachusetts Prepper here. Well, it's that time. It's time to do the 500 subscriber giveaway drawing. And we have the grand prize drawing right here. It has the Schrade, the medical kit, the NRA coin, the 1964 Roosevelt Doug dime, and the 1 ounce silver round, the American